Hey everybody, welcome to DivaDads episode 19. I'm Dana Martin.
I'm Rodney Bettis. Boom!
And I'm Mike Kilgore.
Mike, you're not Christy Petty.
What?
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Mike, did you watch her episode with while she was guest hosting?
No, I popped in YouTube for a few minutes, but I saw that I got a little jealous because I saw that our ratings were actually up the last 2 weeks. And so I just kind of got a little bitter and closed the app.
You should tune in for her introduction. It's worth watching.
Okay.
All right. Well, since you've been gone, Mike, how are you doing for the past 2 weeks? We've missed you.
Doing great. Sort of missed me. Yeah. Yeah, doing great here in Houston now, and all sort of set up. And love to drive back to College Station. Actually, I got to see somebody on Thursday, so haven't been completely gone for 2 days. Adrian's like, who did I get to see Thursday?
That was me.
Oh yeah.
You're so memorable.
Diva. I'm tired. Yeah, no, we had a lunch meeting and Mike made a new friend. Jessica Lemon's daughter Zelda was just like, Dad, and immediately climbed into his lap and did not want to let him go until he had to leave. It was the cutest thing I've ever seen. Rodney, how are you doing at school?
I am okay. I had some issues with the software this week.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw my Facebook post, my little GIF that I made. Yeah, no, nobody pays attention to my Facebook. Thanks, Adrian. But yeah, so I had to make a GIF about my day dealing with our educational platform. But I think they're figuring stuff out. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, but
Sounds
it's all right.
promising.
It's all right. Yeah.
Sounds promising. Dana, how was your week?
It was short. I went on vacation, a very relaxing opportunity to see my hometown. I haven't been back since 1994. It was so relaxing and laid back. Rodney doesn't like the area I'm from. He thinks it's dumb, but I love it. There's mountains or hills and water, and it's just beautiful. So, anyhow.
It's the armpit of Texas.
It is not the armpit of Texas.
Wait, so you said you haven't been back since 1994. Mike, what were you doing in 1994?
I was starting my freshman year of high school.
Oh, shut up.
You want to know what I was doing in 1994? Graduating 5th grade.
Oh, my God. Hold on. Let me feel better about myself. What year did you graduate high school, Rodney?
1994.
Thank you. Whoops.
Excellent. Now that I've properly age-shamed all of you, we're going to talk about a little theater news. So nothing really going on with us other than we are full speed ahead with Rain on Me. There's some rehearsals happening next week. Some stuff is going to start being filmed. It's going to be super exciting. Also, Theater Hangout, The Village is officially open. So everyone should check out Christy Petty's amazing video that Rodney kind of approves of. We're not real sure. You found it a little self-indulgent?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, she beat me to the punch. So, I mean, if anybody's going to be self-indulgent, it should be me. Give me a point.
Point. This is a spoiler alert, but that song is actually being used in Rain on Me. And it's a trio with Roger Pine, Zach Bratton, and Jacob Smith. So she beat them to the punch too. That trio is gonna be good. We do have some breaking theater company news that I think you all know about. You just don't know that I'm going to talk about it. The theater company board of directors has officially welcomed 2 new members. One of them being Dustin Kemp. Yay.
Whoa, cool.
Podcast guest. The other one being Rodney Bettis.
Rodney,
What?
Wait. Did I vote for this?
There's no way.
No.
Yeah, I think there was a secret ballot. White smoke in the air.
Welcome, sir.
It was. Welcome, Rodney, to
Thank you.
the fun and games. It's going to be great. Definitely feel free to bring Pickett to the meetings. And by that, I mean the Zooms. Yeah, congratulations. Welcome to the party. It's going to be great. What do you have to say? Do you have a speech? Anything?
No, I don't.
Good.
I don't have a speech.
We're long-winded enough as we are. So
True.
Excellent. This is a good habit to start as a board member. Anything else to say? No.
I will say though that
Here we go.
Here we go.
What? Come on, Dana, stop interrupting me.
It wasn't
I've got
me.
things
It was
to say.
Mike.
It was not Mike. It was you, Dana. The teens are all back in school, and they don't have time right now. So I think they will make some time in the next week or two. But the TTC teen updates may be a little spread out, more so than what they have been. So
Okay. That is okay. I might be interfering a little bit with the TTC teens. I might have some questions for them that might encourage them to share a little bit with us. So that's great.
Good.
Mike, do you want to take us into our next segment by telling us a little bit about your experience with Frozen the musical?
Frozen the musical. Other than sitting in the audience when TTC did Frozen Junior and bawling, because it was amazing.
That's what I'm talking about.
Anytime that I'm not in a show, I either find a way to laugh hysterically, cry, bawl my eyes out, all before intermission. So sort of should be when Mike cries, but we actually have our newest segment, When Kate Cries.
When Kate Cries.
What is up, you crazy kids? How are you doing? Good. Okay, so this week, my When Kate Cries is inspired by Christina, our little made-to-order princess, who I absolutely adore. When I went and saw the musical Frozen, they actually cast the character of Anna and young Anna as a Black woman and child, obviously. And I remember being super excited, for the cast and the show and all the talent that was there. But there was this moment when Anna first comes out as an adult that she's singing that song that goes something along the lines of the Coronation Day song, whatever that is, where she's super excited and running around. And something caught me out of the corner of my eye, and I look and I see a little Black girl sitting on her dad's lap, staring up at this Anna performing with the eyes that she got to see herself in someone. And for me, it was just such a special and profound moment because inclusivity and representation is important. And I definitely cried. So love you, Christina. Have a great show, everybody. Bye.
When Kate Cries.
All right, so Frozen.
Oh, I love that show so much.
I really like, and we've touched on this a few times about just diversity in casting and how important that is for the arts, for people in general, but for the arts. So I really appreciate that story. That was great, Kate. Thank you.
It was really sweet. And it also just makes me really nostalgic towards our cast of Frozen. Like you said, Mike, those kids were so great. It was so amazing to see them carry on a full production just all by themselves. They were hilarious. Every single person got to have their own moment. It was amazing. A great show. So before Rodney does his cocktail, Mike, you want to tell us a little bit about what you're drinking?
Yes. So actually I went to a new place. Well, not new, but new to me here in Houston. It was called Total Wines. And a guy, one of the, owners was there sampling their Desert Door is the name, Texas Sodal. And the sodal plant is like a cactus.
So
almost. Tall. So tall. Okay. And it's really, really good. I told him I'd give him a shout out. So if you check the guys out, they're 4 veterans, all went to school at UT, and they started this company 2 years ago. And it's actually really good. Dana, I think you said you had ranch water. Oh, look at that. Look at that.
It's okay that you don't remember, Mike, but we actually talked about this one night in a production meeting because I brought it out 2 months ago.
Whoa,
But that's okay.
Whoa, hold on. Mike came to a production meeting?
You're right. He probably missed the production meeting.
Uh-oh.
Before Rodney comes in, like that's sorry, Rodney, like 2 seconds. Rodney, you're fine. But Mike, this is acknowledging that this is done by 4 veterans, and I think we should acknowledge as a group what today is, September 11th, and so we want to acknowledge what happened, and remember that this terrible thing happened, and this country and all of us will never forget it.
Right.
And we were really
And
close
for that,
after all that.
we'll toast to that, Rodney.
That's right. We'll pour a little out. All right. Today, we are going to make a little drink that was inspired by a TikTok person.
Mike?
No. It was inspired by this bartender, I believe. Somebody forwarded me a drink by her. Join Jules. I think it was Miss Dobson that did it.
He did, yes.
Yeah. So I'm not doing that drink, but I, as I do, whenever I follow social influencers, like Mike Kilgore, I usually look at all of their stuff, not just the stuff that's sent to me. So this one is a whiskey sour, and I was doing a little research on whiskey sours. And of course, you're going to start with bourbon. I'm going to go ahead and start making it. And I found some pretty interesting stuff. This is definitely a classic cocktail. So you're going to start with two ounces of bourbon. And there was this one lady on, I think, Mashable, and she had some very hot sports opinions about whiskey cocktails. You have people that fall in several camps. You have, but they want to basically, you have like whiskey purists who, who just want whiskey, and that you should not drink whiskey with anything but whiskey and maybe a little splash of water. But I'm of the opinion that you should drink your whiskey however the heck you want to. And just like Mark Twain said that you can, I'm going to mess up his quote, but you can always get a little bit too much of anything except for whiskey, and too much whiskey is not enough whiskey. All right, so then you're going to take the sour part. You're going to get a lemon, half a lemon. If you have a strainer, that's probably best, or a juicer, because otherwise you'll get these seeds. So I'm going to squeeze it upside down. It'll get you about 3/4 of a shot of lemon juice, okay? And then, like I said, Join Jules kind of inspired me to put fresh strawberry jam in this cocktail.
What?
I don't know about that.
And my mother makes fresh strawberry jam. It is delicious. I like it on waffles. So you're going to put a little bit of that in there. You're going to put about half an ounce of simple syrup.
Oh. I thought he was bringing out the heavy cream again.
I do want to acknowledge for anyone who's listening and not watching that Rodney kicked off this cocktail by throwing it back.
So speaking of ingredients that you guys may find a little bit questionable,
Are you
this
putting
one
it
has egg whites in it, because it's not really. I've seen this online. It's not really a whiskey sour if it doesn't have egg whites in it.
What?
So you crack your egg. Be very careful not to get the yolk in there. They said that it's it's going to be fun. It may have been sitting out for a little while.
Oh, well, so much for that. The yolk.
Okay, so now we're going to make a red eye.
Oh my gosh.
Blame Pickett.
It's Pickett's fault. Dang it.
Oh, no.
All right. Well, I don't know what to do now because it's not going to be as good. Dang it. Just go on and introduce somebody.
Oh, God, please don't drink it. Please don't drink it.
No, yeah, just grab that yolk and
All
put
right.
it down.
We're just going to make it super high protein.
Yeah.
All right, so you do need to dry shake it. because you got to break up those proteins in the egg to make it frothy. So we're gonna see. Like I said, it's gonna have a lot of protein in this, so it may help with my hangover later.
This is
So you gotta shake it for about 30 seconds, and then you add your ice to make it, delicious.
So Linda just stated, like, "Oh my God, it's breakfast! So you could have that for breakfast."
You could. Usually, what I have for breakfast, especially with the egg yolk in it. Pickett is very interested. I believe Pickett is a lush. All right.
Yeah.
So you're gonna strain it into your lowball glass. It's way yellower than it usually is.
Whoa!
I don't like this at all.
This is worse than the milk.
I'm trying to hold it back.
The problem definitely is that I put the yolk in there. All right, then you're going to garnish with a
There's more?
cherry.
Okay.
And there you got your whiskey sour with a little yolk in it.
Huh.
It's still good.
Okay. All right. We're gonna move on.
Let's move on.
I got one challenge for Rodney though. At some point on episode, I want to see Rodney make the original way to make a Ramos gin fizz, and I'll buy all the ingredients.
Okay, I'm in.
But he won't show up to actually deliver them to you.
Oh, fair. Well, but
Diva.
yeah, he's a roller, so he'll probably have his people like deliver it. He's got a little entourage of people that will come and deliver it.
All right, you ready, Dana?
Yeah. So our special correspondent, feet on the street,
Oh God, please don't.
Roger Pine, has a breakdown for us this week. So,
in honor of Christina.
In honor of Christina.
Sweeney Todd. Don't know. Is it in space maybe? Or like a magical forest? I don't know. Sweeney Todd. Good luck. Never heard of that one.
Wow.
And that was very fast. I wasn't quite ready. I knew it was fast, but I had no idea. How does he not know what that's about? That has to be a joke.
It's a joke. He was Sweeney Todd, Dana.
I didn't know that. That was pre-D. That wasn't here.
Gosh. How many times have we talked about that show?
3D.
Oh man. No, he literally was Sweeney Todd. Hence the joke.
That makes a lot more sense now. I just like everyone knows what Sweeney Todd is. Like
I love the cringiness on your face. I just love that so much. You're blushing, aren't you? You're real embarrassed about that one.
Yeah, actually I am.
So we chose this show specifically for Roger because he shared the stage with none other than our beautiful guest, Christina Freeman, who played, bring her on in. She played the wonderful Johanna, who turned out to be Sweeney's daughter in the show. So Roger is honorary Diva Dad for tonight. Woohoo! We need to flip. We go flip away.
Oh my gosh, did I do this again?
Hello, beautiful girl.
Hi, how are you guys?
We're great. So we're going to let you get that settled. But we just watched Roger Pine's breakdown of Sweeney Todd.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And I think that Dana didn't realize that Roger was in Sweeney. He thought that was a sincere.
Oh,
yeah.
He was all Sweeney.
He was all Sweeney.
Mike, you were in that show, right?
I was, yes.
Can you name 3 people that were in the ensemble?
We've literally already done this one, Dana.
Where have I been?
I don't know.
100%.
What are you up to, Christina?
I don't know. Am I upside down or sideways?
You're perfect. You're fine.
You're good.
Okay. How are you?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm doing great. I mean, minus the, apocalyptic pandemic landscape surrounding us and whatnot. I'm
So
doing well.
how has your pandemic been? What's your pandemic life like?
Well, as an introverted person, as a bubbly introverted person, but introverted nonetheless, I've enjoyed it actually more than I feel comfortable saying. But I've continued going to work. I didn't realize when I, was employed with the job I have now that it is considered a medically necessary service.
Wow.
So even as everything was closing, that was just not an option for us. We certainly changed our protocols. We made lots of changes in the day-to-day, but I was able to continue at least seeing humans. Conversing with 2-year-olds isn't quite the same as getting drinks out with friends, but I was at least still having a purpose and able to get up and go do something each day, which may not have happened had I been home the whole time.
So tell us a little bit about what you do.
Sure. Yeah. I am what we call a registered behavior technician, which means that I work with kids with autism. My kids that I work with are anywhere from about 2 years old to about 7 years old.
Oh.
And we do full-time behavior therapy for them. So these are kiddos, it's like school for them. They are there 8 hours a day. But we do one-on-one behavior therapy, but it's primarily through play, through, having conversations, just in the hopes that these kiddos could be more easily integrated into the regular school system, in what's called the least restrictive environment. So whatever gives them the best chance to be in a mainstream classroom, which helps their education in the future. So I love what I do.
That's
I can't think
cool.
of a person just any better suited for doing what you do than you.
Well, thank you. I didn't even know that this was a possibility for me. I didn't know until I was looking to move back to Austin, it's called ABA therapy. I'd never heard of it before. I have a background in education, and this is so education adjacent, but it isn't technically, in the education field. It's more in psychology and the medical field.
Yeah.
But it is something I have just grown so passionate about. It's the perfect kind of non-traditional teaching environment for me, I think.
Is it done in a what's the environment? Like, is it a school setting? Is it like a clinical thing? Is it a state-run thing?
That's a great question. So we call them clinics, but if you walk in, it looks a lot more like a preschool. But especially under COVID circumstances, instead of a classroom of, one teacher and 18 kids, it's maybe 2 teachers and 2 kids. It's a one-on-one environment, much like you and your kitty. You just have one little love that you're responsible for.
Sorry, he's a camera hog.
He's
very upset that it missed last week. So
I love it. That's the next, step. I would love to get a pet, but
you can have him. I'll bring him.
Okay. We'll talk after this. That's great. I'll text you.
So how long have you been in Austin?
I've been in Austin I just celebrated my 1 year back, but I grew up in Austin. I know, isn't that insane?
It feels weird because it feels like you just left.
It does. Well, and I was only there, I came in August, so kind of just set my roots back here, and then COVID, happened. So everything feels weird. It's been somehow 2 weeks and also 5 years since I've moved,
So true. So your last show with us was Rock of Ages, right?
I think was Rocky.
Oh, Rocky, that's right.
And then Seussical, but just in a different, role. Yeah.
So you've worked with Mike a few times, and Mike, so if you've paid attention in any episodes, Mike has struggled with memory regarding his experience with the theater company. But when I asked him, hey, how many shows have you done with Christina? You said, Mike, this is
4.
your cue.
4.
You did not say 4.
He said
That's
3.
amazing. Oh, babe, can you name them all?
I
That's
can.
the question. Okay. Oh my goodness.
Actually,
Wait, no. Wait, back up, because Originally you said 3. So I think you were just reminded of the 4th one.
Rocky Horror.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4. That's what I said.
Amazing. I love it. But okay, so we
At least you revised.
Well, actually, no, it was 3 because, yeah, Sweeney, Fiddler on the Roof, and Rocky. Because, see, my alter ego is Stacy Jack, so that was just me and another. So, yeah, 3.
Oh, Lord.
Sure.
Oh gosh. Okay. So, Christina, since you moved to Austin, I think you came back to see a show or 2, right?
I came back to see 2, yeah.
What have you gotten?
I came back for Mamma Mia. So thank goodness for that. Yes. And which is cool because we'll talk about Mamma Mia a little bit more in a little bit.
Yes.
But, and then I came back for, oh my gosh, I can never remember this one's name with the plant and the feed me.
Oh, Little Shop.
Little Shop.
Yeah, Little Shop. I can never remember that name. But, oh, yes, I'm so glad that I came back for those. It was
Me
so
too.
much fun.
Well, I'm glad you were there for Mamma Mia for several reasons.
Yes,
But I'm glad that so you have had some sort of introduction to our other 2 diva dads, Dana and Rodney.
Definitely. Yes. Oh, I remember meeting you guys in line and gushing. That's the only thing you can do when you see them on stage.
Well, okay. Just kidding. All right.
Also, in those Mamma Mia costumes, I mean.
All right, Dana, do you want to get started?
Sure.
With,
So, how long ago was it that you found TTC, and how did that happen?
Well, of course, as many things start at TTC, Kate Mitchell was the one who was the gateway. She and I met in the Century Singers, which is A&M's, mixed choir. And I met her there. I met Keith Owen there. Ben Kwagwu. Yep. So I met some phenomenal Andrew Armstrong. Met some tremendous. I really hope I'm not forgetting anybody.
It's like you're going through the list of previous guests on our show.
Yeah, exactly. I know. That's true. That's strange. You know where to pull your talent from is all I'm saying. Yeah, but Kate has, was always talking about not only how wonderful the shows were, but how wonderful the community was. And I just always felt too overwhelmed, for a couple of years. I was like, I don't know. I mean, how many days a week is it? I don't think I could do that. And I finally, pulled the trigger for Little Mermaid, and I haven't looked back since. It was such a wonderful experience joining this community. And she was right. Like, she's always been so great with forging connections between other people and kind of facilitating friendships. And I remember her telling me that she told you, Adrian, that like, I told her to look for you because I think you guys are going to be friends. And I'm like, okay, that sounds amazing. And look at this.
I know. She would also give me a heads up of like, okay, I'm sending someone else to you. They're amazing. This is what they do. So I sent them.
Yes. Even if they butcher the audition, just leap of faith it. Yeah.
So what was that like coming for your first audition?
Oh, it was very scary. Any season opener, they tend to be pretty well attended, those auditions, and especially a Disney season opener. It was a packed house. I did feel a little bit better knowing at least one person. I knew Keith was around. I knew Kate would be at least watching, even if she wasn't able to audition. But it is still terrifying. At all auditions are scary. People always ask, okay, well, when does it stop being scary? It does not stop. No. It really doesn't. You just, gain skills that kind of help you either mask those fears or use that energy towards something that's a little bit more functional, in those auditions.
Or just have a really amazing voice,
Oh, jeez. Come on, dude.
Well, you all can attest to that. You guys all have incredible voices.
No, I was talking about you.
Well, you guys are so sweet. Gosh, thank you.
Mike, I think you're next.
Okay, yes. So Taylor Christensen wants to know, what is it like to be the most gorgeous and kindest human?
Taylor, stop. Ugh. If I can make it through this whole podcast without crying or choking up, it will be a miracle. Let's just say that. But, oh, Taylor, what kind of question is that, sister? That's really sweet.
It's a Taylor
Thank
question.
you.
Well,
It is a very Taylor question. Yes, that's so Taylor.
she's not the only one. Carrie Kemp wants to know a very similar question. How are you so lovely and talented?
The tears are coming, but I'm pushing them back. Oh my gosh. Carrie, you are an angel. Taylor, you are an angel. Thank you for your compliments. I really appreciate that. I learned it from being surrounded by this uplifting community. Seriously. I mean, that helps all of us gain talents and confidence in our abilities by being loved by such lovable and wonderful people. That's the end of it.
I want to follow up on, because I mean, Carrie's not kidding. Like, you're ridiculously talented. And for anyone who wasn't lucky enough to see you on stage in any of our productions, make sure you go back. And if you haven't already, watch our I Believe in TTC concert, because we got to have you sing in it. You sang Popular from Wicked, which is so right up your alley.
Thank you.
You know, we got the video and I was like, well, good. This is going to be what I expected. Christina's going to sing Popular, knock it out of the park, right? But then you added this riff at the end where I was like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Amazing.
I appreciate that so much. It was a bit of an effort. I really felt bad for my apartment neighbors because I tend to really be hesitant to sing at home. I just like really have a fear of bothering people. So I tend to kind of reel things in. I kind of walk on tiptoes if I'm not on the first floor, that kind of thing. Yeah. And I was like, today, one day, I'm going to be just really annoying. And I'm going to have to sing that same one riff over and over and over. And it is not a quiet riff, people. So I was like, they can do it this one day. And if I hear like a broom on the ceiling or anything, I'm just going to have to ignore it just this once.
I think that's fine. And I'm sure they were all grateful for it.
Well, I sure hope so. I mean, I have since moved to what we call a garage apartment, which is like a freestanding 1-bedroom with no shared walls. It's just like behind someone's home, which for the explicit purpose of being able to like sing and tap dance to my heart's content without bothering anybody.
That's awesome.
Well, the broom banging would be very apropos for that particular song. So
right. Oh, it's true. That's true. That's true.
So Carrie wants to know. She does have a real question. She says, "What are your dream roles, and when are you coming back to Bryan College Station?"
Those are great questions too. You know, I've kind of found a lot of my dream roles tend not to be dream roles until they are options, like until the musical is on this, season's set list. I may not even know that I want it. I just have a lot to learn still about, different musicals out there. So like, for example, She Loves Me. That was one that I had not really heard of or, listened to. And after, becoming more knowledgeable about it, it turned into one of my favorite musicals ever. So I'm sure there are many that I won't even know yet, but I would love to be in a production of The Last 5 Years. That would be super cool. It just seems like it is, even in the COVID, time, it's such a small cast. I feel like it could be done virtually. I'm sure the rights cost a cajillion dollars, and I don't have a cajillion, so that would be a dream. But any show at this point would be a dream.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have a question from Beth Aiken that I feel silly for not knowing anything about this, but Beth is very adamant that the world needs to know your before and after show ritual, because she says it is amazingly organized and intense.
Yes, it is very intense. And it's surprisingly not as like superstitious as it sounds. Like it sounds like I'm like, sprinkling glitter around, my seating area or something like that. But it's really all about just trying to get organized despite my perkiness. I am a very, very messy and disorganized person. I don't know why nobody ever thinks that about me, because I am just like real bubbly. And so, I don't know why people think I'm really with it, but I am not. So I have to really put a lot of effort into making sure that I don't lose my set pieces and lose my props and lose my costumes. So my pre-show, ritual kind of starts as soon as one show has finished for the evening. So I have to take all of my costumes, hang them all back up. And then I actually place them all strategically in the areas that they go in the hallway. I can't leave them in the dressing room. I make sure to get permission from the costumers so that they don't go, crazily looking for something that's missing. But I have to do that because basically if I don't do it right then, I will be too stressed and nervous by the time it's about to be showtime that I will forget and everything will fall to pieces. So all of my set pieces, all of my costumes, all of my makeup, all of that is set basically in chronological order based on what I need in the show or where I will need it. And she said, I saw the post to mention my suitcase. I do bring a whole entire suitcase to each show every day. I take it all home and I take it all back because I've read, I have ADHD and I'm part of some, forums and things for women with ADHD. And it's pretty common that we tend to overpack things out of fear of forgetting things. Because we are so forgetful, we will be forever over-prepared so as not to be underprepared. So I have myriads of things in that suitcase, but I will have, it's like if so-and-so needs a safety pin, I have, I've got 20.
Perfect. It's very, very perfect because The Little Mermaid is when we first met. And I remember when we got to Tech Week and I saw you wheeling in a suitcase to set up your station. And I just thought, oh, she means business. And I feel like you had the same suitcase every show that I've ever been with you.
Well, and it's so funny. My coworkers that I have now had for a year always make fun of me too, because I thankfully it's not a rolling suitcase, but I do walk into work with not just a backpack, but a backpack that is actually a diaper bag so that it has even more pockets and nooks and crannies, plus a purse, plus a backpack that I actually carry with me to each patient. And most people are walking in with their phone and their keys. And I'm like, I don't know what it is about me. I don't know why I need all this stuff, but I do have the gum that person was looking for and the charger that person was looking for and the, powdered creamer that other person, just the essentials.
Yes.
What role did you play in Little Mermaid?
I was one of the Mer sisters, Adela.
Ooh, nice.
Yes, it was a blast. I was the blonde one.
The blonde one. The costumes were fabulous. Thank you, Becky Dixon.
Oh my goodness, Becky. Wow. Yes, phenomenal.
That was your first show. It was also Camilla's first show. It was Rebecca Roberts' first show. And her sisters were filled with all these wonderfully talented young women. Meredith Pando, was that her first show? Oh, no, she wasn't there yet.
She was in the Mermaid at
Georgetown.
Yeah. It's all the same, yeah.
Laurel, that's who, yeah.
Yes.
She was one
Armene, of I mean, it wasn't her first show, but she was one of my sisters.
Oh, and Diana.
That reminds me that Armene and I also had class together at A&M. We took sci-fi literature together, and she was, I know, is that not the most Christina and Armene thing in the whole world? But so she and I took sci-fi literature together, and as we were sitting, discussing probably Solaris or something of that nature, we were talking about what we do outside of this, and she mentioned the theater company, and that was kind of the straw that was if it's really that great, maybe I should give it a try. I've heard other people say wonderful things. So Armene, thank you for giving me that push I needed.
Perfect.
Wait, we have to talk more about this class. Tell me what's the name of this class again?
It was sci-fi literature. I can't remember the exact terminology of the course, but yeah, it was in A&M's English department,
Yeah.
an upper level English class.
And did you watch films or did you just read?
We discussed the films that were, eventually based on the books, but we only read the book, really. Yeah. I can't really think of any other books. I know that we read some, I really can't remember any of the names of the books.
Rodney, you thinking
I'll have
about
to look at my syllabus.
Well, what I really want to know is, was this before Bloodsuckers Planet?
Oh, come on.
Or was it after? Because, I mean, it's got to be part of the curriculum now.
Oh, then it's got to have been before. I wouldn't remember that. Wouldn't you think?
You missed out. Maybe you should take it again.
I would be delighted. That was a tremendous class. Dr. Vasilakis, if you're listening to this by chance, thank you. You've had a heck of a class.
Hey, Dana, could you see Rodney bringing a suitcase to the guy's dressing room?
He does.
Oh, yeah. Practically already. So.
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
I take up a lot of room in the dressing room.
You do.
Yeah. It's easy to do. There's so many things that you might need when we're all wearing makeup, I mean.
There's a difference between Christina taking up room in a very, formal, organized, this is my space and this is how it's all organized versus
For
some
the fear of being disruptive. Yes, right.
versus some other people whose names we won't mention who just take up room because everything just gets thrown around and it's chaos. There's two
That's
different
how I am in every other scenario, but in the theater, I don't know what it is. It's like sacred ground for me. I just have to make it. I don't know. It is a little bit, of a compulsion to make it a certain way. Maybe it is a little more superstitious than I realized.
Hi, Daniela.
Bye, Daniela.
Wait, I'm on the wrong screen. I can't see everybody.
Yeah. We have a surprise participant for Dads After Dark. Sorry, I got to let my dog out. I'm so sorry.
All right, Dana, go on ahead.
Oh, that's me. Jacqueline Freeman.
That's my mom.
That's your mom. Very cool. Well,
Hi, Mom.
she'd like to know that which role at TTC was the most fun for you?
The most fun. This is going to be an interesting answer probably, but as just pure fun goes, so I would say less stress, more just pure fun. I had so much fun in Fiddler on the Roof.
Yes.
I loved getting to play, so many different characters. I don't know, those of you who saw the show, I started off as a Jewish daughter, so a younger Jewish woman. Then I switched to being a Russian man with some stippling, a nice little beard. And then I became an elderly ghost, I would say an older, angry ghost.
I don't think she was elderly. She just had passed.
she had a past, and she had, it's the hair that really kind of throws me.
Yes.
And then promptly became a Jewish man with a beard, up to my eyeballs. And then a Jewish girl again. And that whole process was so much fun. I mean, it was very stressful, as many Brittany Green can attest to. I sent her bolting down the hallway several times because I forgot things, probably why I am now more organized. But that was just so much fun. The bottle dancing, even though I didn't always keep the bottle, it fell a couple of times, sadly, but that was a blast.
But that's also because we didn't use any tricks. We didn't cheat. So
I like to say that it's because I had to wear a man's hat. Yes. And I have a woman's head despite the fake beard. It's still, that's what I like to say. But, I mean, we can't all be as well balanced as Catherine and James and David Manuel. We just can't. I aspire, but.
So she's talking about all the back and forth she has to go to between, Jewish woman, Russian man, back to this, back to that. Her and Catherine specifically had so many changes that involved, gender. So their face was constantly I don't know how y'all survived it. But so you and Catherine were the Jewish bottle dancers, and it was amazing. Those pictures are hilarious.
They're great.
I think my favorite is you as the Russian dude with Mariana Tanska, and then it was Stephanie, right? Stephanie.
Yeah. Mhm.
Y'all were so tough because there were actual men in that kind of group of Russians, but
There
you,
were,
Mariana, and Stephanie were the toughest broads of the bunch.
I so vividly remember auditioning for that because I don't remember. I think I may have blocked out a lot of those auditions out of, terror.
That was when we had 100 people.
Yes, but I remember that audition specifically because you said you were emulating a man. It was that dance that we did in
Yes.
the Russian scene. You're emulating men in this scene. So do with that what you may, what you will. And I remember going out onto the stage and just immediately going, what? Okay, yeah, I think that's probably what men do. I remember really trying to get into it. And I mean, hey, it worked.
It worked. That was amazing. I
That's
also
an
want
audition
to
tip. People, go for it.
commit. Always commit. Goodness gracious.
Commit fully.
Also, your mother, Jacqueline Freeman, costumed for us.
She did, yes, several times. Yes, she is phenomenal.
She's amazing and so sweet.
Yes, love you, Mama. You're so good at what you do.
So if we can go back just a little bit, you stated you were in the choir there at A&M, Century Singers.
Mm-hmm.
What did you do theater-wise or choir-wise growing up, like through school, high school? What did you do, and how did you get that kind of spark to go into theater?
Yeah, thanks for that question. I started singing. I mean, I always loved to sing. I remember singing with my mom in the car growing up. We would sing, specifically Go Into the Chapel, and we would harmonize. I don't know why that song specifically, but I remember harmonizing with her in the car. Growing up, I always kind of thought that I could maybe sing, but I would never ever let anybody know. Like that was kind of like my little thing that I just was like, I don't know, maybe someday I'll get the guts. But I had this dream in elementary school that someday I would be able to stand up in front of my music class and like sing a song. And that was like my special dream I would think about, and it happened when I was in 5th grade. We did a little, 5th grade show, and I got to sing Rockin' Robin. Aww. And it was like every dream was coming true. And, that music teacher of mine, Mr. Steinberg, was so monumental in giving me confidence to sing in front of people for the first time. And then that next year, 6th grade, I joined choir. And so I started learning to read music, which was really helpful to me. And I auditioned for our musical, which was The Music Man. Nice. And, was cast as Marion Peru, which was so fun. Awesome. Yeah, so that was my first show. And that was actually the first time I sang like all by myself in front of people. That Rockin' Robin was a duet. And my parents went home and they're like, we didn't know. We didn't know. You did never do that in front of us. We didn't know you could do that. So I joined theater the next year in 7th grade and have not stopped since then. Mr. Elliott, thank you for being such a wonderful middle school theater teacher. Yeah, and just kept going throughout, high school. I did choir and show choir and theater, comedic theater. We did children's theater, which was great for me. Being that I also love working with kids. So yeah, keep up with it, everybody, because you learn a lot of valuable skills, with time, and your confidence grows too.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
All right, Mike.
All right. Shiloh Barty wants to know, how are you so positive?
Oh. Shiloh, I have to be a little negative here and say I'm so sad I don't get to see you all the time. I miss you so much. Your family is just wonderful. I have to admit, I'm not positive all the time. It's just facts. I have an anxiety disorder. I'm certainly not always positive. I don't always feel positive, but I do think it's really important to at least try to treat people with positivity if you can muster that up. I know that it's not always going to happen. We also have to try not to beat ourselves up about that. But I do put a lot of energy into trying to treat people kindly, because I know that, whatever's going on in my life, that's not their fault. So, I do really want to be, an example of love and light to people, because if I can help somebody else have a better day, that makes my day infinitely better as well. Yeah. And I mean, I know my faith has a lot to do with it as well. I just, things are going downhill around us a lot of the times, but I do believe there is like a greater purpose that's pulling us all together, and that there are still great people in the world who are striving for changes that are really, really important. So that gives me hope, even when I'm really feeling hopeless. And that does happen. A support system is really important too. So I have, friends, thankfully, at work. I have, a supportive family system. I have friends from the theater and from choir that I can turn to, who I can trust with my less positive feelings, and who can kind of talk me out of negative self-talk. They can speak what they perceive as the truth about me to me, so that I can try to negate those feelings that I often put on myself, and those projections that I put on myself. So sometimes it's just about trying to, put your best effort forward, even if things aren't going right.
That's wonderful advice. And Shiloh, you're not far from Christina right now.
I know. If not for COVID, I think we would have already hung out, but that makes things a little complicated.
Yeah, Dustin gave me a hard time because I actually did go to San Antonio to see my parents for a hot second. And I talked about stopping by Bastrop because they're literally on the way, like they're right there.
Yeah.
And then my timing was just like really off and I couldn't make it. And then I got locked out of my house when I came home, and he sent me a message. He's like, well, maybe if you'd stopped by Bastrop, then you wouldn't have done that.
That was a message from the universe.
All right, Christina. Shiloh also wants to know, what role did you get in Mamma Mia at the Zilker Hillside Theater?
Yes. So funnily enough, as I had just seen Mamma Mia at TTC, I auditioned when I came back for the Zilker Hillside Theater's production of Mamma Mia, which was supposed to be this past July and August. And I'm just in the ensemble. I actually really want to stop saying things like just in the ensemble. That's kind of uncool, because being in the ensemble is incredible and such a blessing. And especially in Mamma Mia, if I could be like 1/3 of the joy to watch as Kelsie Kullman was, I would be so honored. So I'm really hoping to bring that same kind of energy next year. It's been postponed. Our rules are safe. If we want them, we can tell the Zilker Theater and we're in. If not, they'll re-audition. But yeah, it's my first, kind of professional production, as far as the fact that we get paid, but it's not an equity show. So I'm really excited about that.
Here's the tea about Kelsie and Mamma Mia, though. So that's the show where,
wait, let me just get this. Okay, yeah.
Okay. So Kelsey's always like a standout performer, no matter where she is on stage.
Oh,
but
yeah.
there are a couple moments in the show that when Rob, because that was a summer show where Rob is here to direct the show, but then by the time it opens, he's got to go, and he'd already got back to Pennsylvania.
Sure,
and so
yeah.
there's a few moments in that show that were one way when Rob was here, and then Rob left, and those moments continued to develop. And someone took a video off stage of her dancing at the wedding, as the bachelors and bachelorettes are dancing. I do. And Kelsie breaking it down at the top of the
breaking it down.
And I choreographed that show. Did not choreograph
that. Was that not in there?
No, like I remember talking to her about what we wanted her to do for that. And then I think, I watched the show most of the time for Mamma Mia because it's great. But I didn't kind of keep an eye on things. And then by the time I kind of caught on to that, it was a little bit too late. It was like, you know what? This is where we're at. We're just going to let it go. But yes, joyful.
Joyful to the highest extent. Oh, it was an utter joy to watch. Yes, I hear you. I hear what you're saying. As my brief little stint of choreographer, I do, I get it.
You get it.
Yeah. The easiest, teasiest bit, but boy, Kelsie, I loved it, I have to say.
Goodness gracious. We're going to have to find that and post it.
It's great. That and that and the belly bump with Gigi.
Oh
please.
my gosh. Yeah, I almost talked about that when we were talking about the dance audition for Fiddler. So for anyone who doesn't know, so Carrie Morosky also choreographed that show. And there was this, very ruckus, male energy dance. And Kelsie turned around and tried to do a chest bump to Gigi and knocked her flat on her ass.
Oh my
And
gosh.
everybody.
Like once we knew she was okay. Oh
But
my
I mean,
gosh.
she went down, and that video gets shared every year like clockwork. And thank goodness, because I never want to forget it. I never want to forget that.
I shouldn't. Yes. To continue answering Shiloh's question, if you really do need a boost and you need to feel more positive, please watch that video. It'll put a smile on your face.
Any dance videos of Kelsie. Now we know if you need a serotonin boost, look them up.
And truly, I kid you not, I heard this on a podcast and I have since tried to adopt it, and I'm telling you it works. I have these fun one-person dance parties in my house, and it feels a little silly to be like twerking, all by my lonesome. I mean, it feels weird to do that in any context, whether you're alone or with company, but it really makes me feel better. It like releases those endorphins, and I'll be in a better mood if I can just like turn on some music and dance around like a lunatic for just a little while.
Kate Mitchell would agree with you, because one of the things that got her through being quarantined in a very small place in New York City was fitness martial dance videos. If she got a few of those in every day, she would feel a whole lot better.
One of my favorite songs is I'm Worth It, and you guys need to film the choreo for me, because I'm like, I remember there's some like knee slapping at one point, and I can't remember much of it, but it is important to me that I know that choreography. Adrian and Kate, do you hear me?
Yes, no, we can do that for you. If you're lucky, maybe we can get the dads to do it. That might not be a TikTok thing. That might be like an OnlyFans thing. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Times are tough.
I think you need to review my contract. I don't know if that's in there.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, we're gonna move back to a kinder, gentler type of question. Christina, do you know who Parker Greer is? Have you ever seen him?
I believe we've met. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, he has a question for you as I go let my dog back in. He would like to know, who is your favorite princess and why?
Oh, that is a tough one. I think I really love to emulate, like if I'm dressing up, I really love Rapunzel. I think that she is so fun because she's so energetic, and the hair is just a blast. Usually if I'm dressing up like a princess, it's around, hundreds of little girls. And so that hair is like a phenomenal conversation starter, and it's nice to be kind of pet like a cat every once in a while. I really just like, because she's kind of adventurous and kind of perky. I also really love, getting to dress up like Elsa. But I realize that anytime I do, I really am not emulating Elsa at all. If I did, I'm kind of just being like myself, because Elsa's kind of not as expressive and not as friendly. And I kind of don't think, most little girls would enjoy like the kind of princess who would not open the door when they knock, So I do try to make it a little bit more zesty.
Well, that's why she wasn't really a princess. She was the queen.
She was the queen, right? And there's no nonsense in being queen. It's not, I mean, we've seen it.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, given what you do and what you've done, like you were and we both did that for a while, Princess for Hire, around town. Do you ever get tired of children?
You know what? I have not yet. And you would think at this point I would. It's what I do all day long. It's kind of all I talk about, especially now that I don't have many other social engagements. But no, I really don't at this point. I mean, we'll see. I could anticipate there being kind of a discrepancy if I someday have my own children.
Yeah.
I hope to. Perhaps coming home to more children would make that different. Right now, I can just kind of unwind and have no child-related responsibilities. But No, I freaking love children. I just really love working with them. I really feel like that is, one thing I was put on this earth to do.
Yeah, I agree. 100%.
Thanks. I love whenever Ryder's around, I love getting to I just love getting to borrow him.
Today he yelled at birds because there was some like big birds that flew over the backyard and flew away, and he says, the birds left, and I was like, yeah, Ryder, they're flying. He goes, hey birds, come back to my house. And he continued to yell at the birds. He said, Ryder, they're gonna flying. And he says, come back to my house, I have to tell you something. Just very emphatic that like if he dangled like I've got some information, I think later he said I had to show you something. Yeah.
Well, he's escalating. Yes. That's amazing. I love just the things that kids say. We have a whole bulletin board at my work now of, kids say the darndest things, because work is hard. And, some of the behaviors that I deal with are really challenging. A lot of my kids are nonverbal, which means that, until we can help them find another kind of reliable communication, a lot of the behaviors that they have to get attention and to communicate things are not super well adapted, to the world. But we just have to find the humor. And oh my goodness, every day. Today, my favorite comment was, Miss Christina, did you know that dogs don't have telephone numbers? I was like, well, yeah, why not? Why don't they have telephone numbers? And he says, well, because their phone calls would be like, woof, 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 woof. And I was like, honestly, yeah, you got a better grasp on this than most people. Yeah, he's not wrong.
Right,
I had a student. So we get a lot of stuff on the educational platform, the digital stuff. Anyway, one of the questions was to use the word choreographer in a sentence, and one of my students used the choreographer. My sister did a choreographer.
I have such a similar scenario to that. I'm in charge of our gross motor games at work, which means that, I used to teach dance for little kids. And so trying to kind of bring some, movement activities to work so our kids can get up and move since they are stuck inside most of the time. And I have this game that I think I came up with. Maybe not, I don't know, but I think I did, where it's just two bags. I call it mix and match movement. Out of one bag, you draw a word, like you pull out a word and it tells you what to do, a verb. And then the other bag tells you how to do it, like skip quietly or, whatever. And my friend was doing this with one of her kids. And I kid you not, the first thing, the very first combination he pulled out was sleep with a friend. Oh no. This is the exact kind of forethought that I lack.
You just switch it out with take a nap with a friend.
Yes, exactly. He was like, okay, well, baby Haley, that's the teacher's name. Baby Haley, we're going to just take a nap now. Okay, sweet little baby Haley, you just take a nap. And she's like, okay, you sweet angel boy. So, oh God.
All right, Dana.
How do you think theater has helped you navigate through your career?
That is a tremendous question. I think a lot of working with children, and I mean this in the most genuine way, a lot of it is acting, because you really have to keep your emotions in check. When you're working with children, sometimes they can be incredibly frustrating. Sometimes they can make you want to cry. Sometimes they can make you want to burst out laughing. And at times those emotions may not be appropriate for us to express, to a kid. So there's a lot of, kind of putting on this persona. And, thankfully for me, even though I don't think that I'm always in my Miss Christina persona, it is a persona that I feel comes naturally when I'm around kids. It's not something that I have to actively turn on, but, that's a persona of being really patient, even if I'm feeling frustrated. And that's my, Miss Christina character. Miss Christina character would never lash out at a kid, even if she's, frustrated. And also just the community aspect of working with coworkers. You know, I think one thing that's so cool about the theater community is it really teaches you about kind of servant leadership and servant heartedness. Because, you know, if Adrienne is about to walk onto stage and realizes that she forgets the pen that she needs for this prop, someone is going to go get it for her, and they're going to run and they're going to, you know, scream, whisper, shout to everyone, get out of my way, I have to go get Adrienne's pen, you know, and she will get that pen before she goes on. Hello. Hi. And so, you know, you won't leave your fellow actors hanging. And that's how all work environments should be. I think it's not self-serving. It's very much supposed to be, you know, we're all in this together.
We are, so we'd like to welcome our unofficial diva, Alana O'Connell.
How are you?
Johanna.
How was your dinner this evening?
I love you so much.
I love you so much too. It hurts me deeply.
I have a question that I think Alana would need to know the answer to, because I don't know if she wasn't around for this story. I think Mike was the only other one who was. But this is a question from Beth Aiken. She would like, Christina, for you to tell us the story from Sweeney Todd music rehearsal of sex.
Oh, no. I promise to my friends and family who are listening, it's not as bad as you think. But yes, it is as stupid as you think, based on just my general idiocy. But wow, because how did this even happen? But we were working. We were opening the show like, it was the end of the game, yeah. And we were working on some counts for the end, like the final scene when we sing the, you know, the Sweeney Todd, yeah. And there was a point where it's just a bunch of us, one at a time during specific allotted time, saying there, 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 there. And it was Chris Hoffman who was instructing us. He had numbered us, those of us who were supposed to say there. And I was number 6 with an I. And so at first we started saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you know, each of us saying our numbers so we could get used to the order in which we would respond. And then we graduated to saying there, you know, in order. And for some reason, I wish I knew, I was still on the 6th thing mentally. And because I realized at the very last second, I'm not supposed to say 6. I'm supposed to say there, there with an E sound. It was like this. There, 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 sex, there. At the top of my lungs, with the confidence that no one deserves. And oh my gosh, I was petrified. I mean, thankfully, we could all laugh about it. It was not a performance. It had no bearing on anything, but oh my gosh. I'm pretty sure Thank you for remembering that moment. I'm really glad it lives on in infamy. It does. I think we were all threatened with our lives for if we messed up. Well, yeah. Sequence and then the whole opening Sweeney Todd sequence. Yes, we were. And that was my first show with Hoffman. And, you know, he is a phenomenal music director. And what I really like about him is he's so detail oriented. So that was the exact kind of detail that we were going to nail out. You know, and for lack of a better word, nail, maybe not the best choice of words, but there. Oh, so good. Oh, so good. My goodness. But, you know, I never got it wrong again. That's for sure. Here's another tip, people. I was instructed in high school to write in my music, and you know I wrote this in that night. If you get the same thing wrong more than once, insult yourself in your music. And so I always have, I mean, not really, don't do it deeply in your soul, but just, you know, and maybe find a lighthearted thing to say, but like, you better know that in that part of that libretto, I wrote "Sing there, you idiot!" Like, and I did not get that wrong again. Thank goodness.
That may not be the healthiest thing for me, considering how much I insult myself on a regular basis.
Right. And I definitely, it certainly changed my perspective on things. But yeah, I think perhaps if you're someone like me or someone like Adrian who tend to be harder on ourselves than other people are, then, maybe write yourself a loving compliment in place of that. Because the whole thing is just creating a memory device. It doesn't have to be mean.
Good job committing.
You lovely. Yes, exactly. Like you soft, flowing, I don't know, angel. There's a rest here. Yeah.
I think Mike does this.
I would believe it. He is a soft, flowing angel, and we all know it.
We can't give him any more ammunition.
All right, Rodney.
So, Christina, one of the fun things that we did today was show, I think it was 9 pictures of you in different productions.
Yes.
Whether they productions, or as I learned, not productions.
Yes.
Performances. It was
performances, events. Yeah.
Beth nailed it, so good job.
Yeah. Yeah, and Beth took all of the fun out of it because she knows everything, and she guessed like right off the bat. She knew everything.
She really did.
Yeah, she's kind of good at those kinds of things.
I really wanted to. I missed my opportunity to comment something like, ooh, sorry, trick question. They were all cats, or something like that. Like, I don't know. I hadn't worked it all out in my brain, but yeah, Beth is on top of it like no one I've ever met before. She is just wonderful, just in every way. She makes every show better.
Yeah, no, totally agree. But in that vein, it looked like you were singing your heart out in all of those songs. What is one of your favorite songs to perform?
Oh gosh, I really loved getting to sing Vanilla Ice Cream in She Loves Me. That is a total blast. It's just like kind of a soprano icon song, like just one of those soprano songs. And I don't always get to sing kind of more in that classical tone. I am typically kind of relegated to the like Disney princess-esque, style, which I am not mad at, so don't take it that way. But, I enjoyed getting to kind of show off that part of my range that I also have worked on through choir and things like that. And I mean, come on, I would sing anything in front of, Adam from Rent. So I didn't care what I was singing there, but that was a pretty great day.
So do you remember some of that song? You mind sharing it with us?
Oh yeah, I do remember it. Okay, but first this is another one of my weird little things that I forgot to mention, but Beth, okay, this is Singer Saving Grace. I can't attest to whether this is totally a placebo or if it is something that actually helps my voice, but I use it pretty much religiously before every scene pretty much. You just have to be careful, as Gigi once told me. Anything like this that may have slippery elm in it will make everything slippery. And she said, including your bowels. So I was like, oh my gosh.
See, that's
Can you
why
imagine me trying to get up on that bed and sing a song? Yes. So I will do that. Okay.
Yeah, we typically use the whiskey, but go ahead.
Oh, actually, that's when I knew I loved Adrienne, because she shared it with me before scenes in Little Mermaid, my very first show, and I was like, I think I love theater. Is that what's happening? Okay.
Honey whiskey, the ultimate vocal warm up.
It really does just get you right where you need to go. Okay. I'm not warmed up though. Vanilla ice cream.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That was amazing.
Was freaking awesome.
Thank you. I hope I did not just totally wreck this audio, but
That was perfect. It was
just peak. Oh wow. My pulse is skyrocketing.
My tachycardia
It's
is
been a
going.
long
I
time.
can't.
Oh wow.
I love it. Okay, we're transitioning into something else really quick. We have a segment that we don't do consistently, but I've got some good questions. Don't always come up, and sometimes questions come up where I'm just like, nah, not worth the time, but it's like really worth the time today. So Christina, feel free to share any of your advice, but this is officially Dear Daddy. First of all, how dare you? Second of all, who do you think you are?
Me?
Okay, so excellent improv skills, dads. Looks like we have some work to do.
Yes, and
okay, next question. The first one was kind of a dud. That's great.
Is this for me?
No
Is this
idea
for me
what's
to say, or
happening
is
right
this for
now.
them?
Dads. This is
Okay,
for the
great.
dads. Yeah, it's dear Daddy. I mean, Christina.
Just let my heart rate return to a healthy level.
Dear Daddy, how do you bring spice back into your marriage when it tends to lack? Take your time.
Mike.
I got it.
Is that the answer or the question?
Well,
No, he's not invited. No.
Thanks for laughing at that, Alana.
I mean, I would say, you got to always keep things spicy. One thing for me, I know it's kind of crazy. This is tied to theater, and I don't bring it up too often, but
That means he's about to bring up something he brings up all the time. Go ahead.
whenever I was kind of, let's call it pre-casted for Stacey Jacks. I mean,
Oh God.
put the wig on and the tight pants will, every after every practice, go home and just, it was pretty amazing. So that was the way I spiced things up a little bit.
I will say Daniela came to that show more often than I've ever seen her at the theater before.
But can we reminisce on how incredible Daniela looked going to those productions?
Oh, heck yeah.
Oh
Heck
my
yeah.
goodness, Daniela, you just blew us all away. We're like, well, I guess we'll all be like second best dressed in this whole auditorium. Wow.
So Dana and Rodney, no advice here?
Can I go back to the first question?
First off, how dare you and who do you think you are?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm Batman.
That's not the right kind of mask, dude.
I asked this question.
Nobody asked you, Christina.
That's true.
I'm regretting it because Alana in the pre-show discussions, we learned what some of their safe words were, and now we're here. So I think we need to move on. So,
Let's go around circle and share a safe
anyways,
No.
okay. So
Keep it rolling, people.
Meatloaf. All right. So Christina,
Who is Meatloaf?
there is a Dear Daddy question that came in that I feel very uncomfortable asking.
Yes, well, of course.
So I texted it to you, and dads, I'm going to let Christina ask it.
Yes. Okay. My question for you is, dear daddies, how does it feel to just sit back and coast while Adrian shoulders the entire burden of this show?
That's really the only way I know how to exist around age. That's just, yeah.
For the last 2 years.
Yeah. 2 years, whatever she does, I follow, or just I try and imitate in some way. So yeah.
That's why he got a cat. So good job, Rod.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just trying to be, when I grow up, I want to be like Adrian.
I will tell the tea for $50 if you want to know who asked that question.
I want to know.
You got
who asked that
$50.
question.
I'll pay.
I will await my Venmo account.
Is that like TikTok?
No.
The same. Just yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just stay out of the DM, Mike. Stay out of the DM.
Stay out of the DMs, Mike.
I will.
Okay, Rod, you're next.
Oh, am I? Okay, so it's time for our favorite fun fact correspondent, Miss Jennifer Riley.
Hi there, Diva Dads. I hope you all are doing well. This is Jen, your fun fact correspondent. And this week's fact is about the cartoon Wile E. Coyote versus the Roadrunner from Looney Tunes. So remember how the coyote just never seemed to be able to catch up to the Roadrunner in the cartoon. Well, I hate to let y'all know, but in fact, coyotes can run twice as fast as roadrunners. Roadrunners can only run about 20 miles an hour, which to be fair is pretty quick. But coyotes can reach the top speed of 43 miles an hour. So my theory is the coyote knew that he could run faster than the roadrunner, but he enjoyed the chase, he enjoyed the game, and he didn't want it to end. So he actually ran slower so that way they could continue to chase each other, even though he kept falling off of cliffs and having anvils land on his head. But, cartoons! So that's the fun fact for this week. I hope you all are doing well, and I look forward to speaking with y'all soon. Bye.
Thank you, one. Oh.
Christina very politely sent me a thank you one when I gave her her 1 minute warning to come in.
I did. And you know what? I knew you were going to talk about it on here too.
Oh.
It's so fun to see them be like accordions. That's not something that happens otherwise.
Wouldn't that be nice though?
That
My back would be so much better off. Yeah. Yes. It's only anvils. But yeah.
Hefty. Okay, so you've worked with Jennifer Riley in a couple of ways, but
Yes.
with our special guest, the three of you were in a show together, right?
We were, yes. We were in a straight play, which for people who don't know, that just means a play that is not a musical, called The Wolves. It was a recently written production, 2018 was it, Alana?
Very recent.
Yes.
Very recent.
That is a show about a high school soccer team and all of the various personalities that can exist in the realm of, a group of high school girls. But what I think was so profound about the show is it is written exactly, Alana, you know this, exactly the way that a group of girls that age would talk.
Yes.
And it was so challenging for us to even rehearse, not because we don't still talk exactly like that, but because there would be 4 different columns of text happening simultaneously that were mostly just yeah, I know. Oh my gosh. Right. And because it was, it organically felt like young women having a conversation. And it was just so cool. Alana, tell us more about The Wolves. I want your perspective.
You had a question. Alana had a question for you regarding
what was your question?
I have a question. Is
Yeah.
how you felt about the character that you played in The Wolves?
Yes.
Because I feel as if I was just kind of playing myself.
Isn't that so funny? Yeah, I felt that way too. And what was interesting is that, in the script, our characters were only numbers, the number of our jerseys. We, we're not given names. We got to create those names and the backstories ourselves. But yeah, as I read the script the first time, I was number 8. Number 8 was the only character that I didn't get. I literally made, as I would, a color-coded list, trying to keep all of these different characters, straight, because I couldn't remember each number. But I was like, okay, so, number 2 is the, kind of religious one. Number, I don't know, I can't think of all the numbers. 14 is kind of the one with an attitude per se, maybe. I wrote things, and 8 was the one that I was and I kind of don't know I don't get it. I don't really get what she is.
And for context, the first time we all read the script, our director didn't tell us who we were playing. So we had to read the script blind without knowing which of the girls we were going to play.
Right. Just to kind of see what left out, hopefully to read with an unbiased pair of eyes. And the one I eventually was cast as was the only one that I didn't have a little definition for. And probably because it's me. It's freaking me. Most notably, my character has a full emotional breakdown, ugly, crying, weeping about the soccer, playoffs not being in the same city as Disney World anymore, because that means she wouldn't get to go to Disney World. Now, granted, much like myself, that breakdown was really, precipitated by all these other emotions that she was not recognizing. And so the lack of Disney World was just the straw that broke the camel's back. And she's crying about that and, plethora of other things. But yeah, I mean,
I've totally never done that.
That made it, yeah. I've only cried in front of you, I don't know, 2,000 or 3,000 times.
Who directed The Wolves?
That was
Savannah.
Savannah. Yeah.
Yeah, I will say that script is probably the most authentic portrayal of teenage girls that I have ever read.
Yes, I agree.
And also, ironically enough, it is a straight play. It's not a musical, but the playwright says that she wrote it intentionally like music. Like she sort of assigned an instrument type or a voice type to each girl, and so each girl has a very specific way of speaking, like a rhythm to the words that she says. That it's very it's written like music, and when there's 4 lines of text on one page, it's all happening at one time. It's meant to sound
harmonious. Yeah. That's it. It was very, very cool. It was challenging.
Yes, it was very difficult.
It was very difficult.
But I'd do it again.
Yeah, there were fewer cue lines. It's like, wait, did you just say yeah, or did you just say oh yeah?
Because it's different.
Oh yeah is my cue. But I don't know. It was tough to, sew together all of those different lines of harmony. Or lines of melody to create harmony.
I'm trying to picture the dads in that type of rehearsal setting.
Rodney wouldn't get any of those cues for anyone else.
None of you would. Don't put.
Oh, and you also had to be playing soccer while you did it.
Right. Yeah. We also rehearsed outside at a park a lot of the time.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Also, sometimes in my living room.
Perfect. So another show that I want to talk about once we go into Dads After Dark is another show that we all have in common. Our special guest as well, Alana, Rocky Horror. So we can tell some Rocky stories in a little bit. But Mike, you wanna wrap us up?
I can definitely do that. Christina, thank you so much. Amazing. It's great to see you.
Thank you guys for having me.
And we just want to remind everybody out there, you can visit us if you just go on the line and you type in www.ttcdivadads.com. You can actually connect with us through any sort of social media that you so choose. And then if you do connect with us on social media, make sure you tag us, TTCDivaDads, but make sure you put the number sign before.
The numbers. Okay.
Just make sure you do that. But we would love for you to follow us. And
I need another drink.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you guys. Bye bye. See you in Dads After Dark.